If you are triggered by death or anything paranormal, then I would probably suggest clicking out of this video because I am going to be talking about those topics. I'm going to be talking about murders that have occurred on this particular road, and I'm also going to be talking about paranormal sightings and certain things people have reported seeing. So if you're scared by any of that, please don't watch this video. Click out of it now. If you're not, let's get on to it. So let's talk about the haunted road of Wakhurst Parkway. But first, hydration. I'm actually gonna put some jewelry on because I feel quite naked, and put her on there. Let's just go all out with the rings today. Hello you lovely people of the internet, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. Welcome. I swear that's from a movie. It's from Mean Girls, where she's like, welcome. She's like, I'm from Michigan. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in this big wide world. I have a very interesting video planned for today because I've never done something like this before, but I am one of those people that's really interested in like creepy things. When I was younger, I used to make a lot of Ouija boards, and I made a video about a really bad experience I had with one, and I haven't made one since. So my fascination with like ghosts and all that paranormal stuff started pretty young. I don't mess with that shit anymore for good reason, but I thought I would film a little bit of a different video today, and I wanted to talk about a really creepy road in Sydney that has a whole bunch of like eerie history, and a lot of people have seen some really weird shit when they've been driving down this road, like really weird shit. It kind of gives me chills. I don't know if I want to make this like a series on my channel where I talk about like creepy weird stuff. I'm also really interested and fascinated by true crime and the minds of criminals and stuff like that. I don't know, it really fascinates me. So I was thinking of starting a series on my channel like this sort of thing, where I just delve into like weird cases or mysterious things and just talk about creepy stuff really. So if you're interested and you find this shit really fascinating, then let me know down below, or give this video a thumbs up, and I will be sure to make more of them. So enough chatting, let's get into it. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's explore the history of Wakhurst Parkway together. Let's get creepy today. So if you're scared of like paranormal stuff, or it just like freaks you out, maybe don't watch this video. So Wakhurst Parkway is a road on Sydney's northern beaches, and it's about 25 kilometers from Sydney CBD, and for a long time it's been considered Australia's most haunted highway, and for good reason. The road is 13 kilometers long, and it goes through the Garigal National Park, which is a spot that is well known for its dark history of gruesome murders and body dumping. Besides the body dumping and murdering situation going on this particular road, there have been a ton of fatal car crashes. It's not very well lit, it is quite dark, and there are many people that have been killed and injured really badly just from driving on the road. Despite all the paranormal, like weird, creepy history I'm gonna get into, the road itself has a lot of history of people dying on it. It is considered one of the most dangerous roads in Sydney to drive on, and also in general because of all this really creepy stuff. Some people even actively avoid driving on the road because they're just like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. And they'll take a longer, better lit route because it's dark, it's creepy. You'll see what I mean in this video. It is really, it just has a creepy vibe. So people report feeling like shivers down their spine when they drive down this street. Some people have reported that their headlights will start flashing on and off, and their windscreen wipers will randomly just turn on and off. People have also experienced like their stereo systems having volume fluctuations, and car doors locking and unlocking, and just weird creepy stuff happening with cars in general as they drive down that road. It appears to be mainly at night that all this stuff seems to happen, and I'm not saying everyone that drives down this road is going to have this experience, but this is just what people have reported, and a lot of people have reported very similar things and very similar experiences when they've been driving down this road at night, particularly when they're by themselves, and it gets creepier. So let's get deep and dive into the history of Wakhurst Parkway and all the crazy, weird, horrible stuff that has gone on over the years. So for decades, people have experienced and reported ghostly feelings, paranormal feelings, eerie feelings. It doesn't seem to be for no reason, because there were a few murders and body dumpings not far from this road. So probably the most well-known and repeated experience of what people say they see is of a girl named Kelly. And after the history, I'm gonna get into exactly what people report seeing or what she looks like and all that sort of stuff. But she is said to haunt the isolated route and was apparently murdered in the 1970s after she was picked up hitchhiking on the road. So it makes sense if she is haunting the road, or if she is lingering around, because maybe there's part of her soul that has some sort of unfinished business and is very connected to this road, because that's where she died, and in such a tragic way. Maybe this place obviously has a lot of significance to her. A lot of people could think this is bullshit, but I think it's very weird that many people report the same sort of things. I find that a bit strange and a bit too coincidental, but I'd love to hear your opinions down below. Some of you might think this is a load of rubbish, others might be really intrigued and go and do your own research. Completely up to you. But I thought I'd talk about it because I feel like a lot of you, especially in other countries, probably have no idea about Wakhurst Parkway and about this haunted road in Sydney, and I wanted to share it with you today. So some real life horrors have occurred on this road, especially regarding Deep Creek Reserve. In 1994, a man named Stephen Dempsey was murdered in Deep Creek Reserve. He was shot with bow and arrows, and then his body was chopped up. Horrible.
I'm calling to report my friend Stephen Dempsey, who is missing. He's been missing for 3 days. He lives at Palm Beach, and he is gay.
Also found on the road were belongings of 3-year-old Graham Thorne, who was abducted and killed in 1963 after his father had just won the lottery, which I feel like is the worst. Like, can you imagine like going through that massive high of like winning the lottery and then going through the loss of losing your child? The extremes of emotions those parents probably went through were in that period were probably unfathomable with what I can even process experiencing. A search after he went missing uncovered his school case in a nearby suburb, and luckily the family did get justice because they caught the person who was responsible for this crime. Yet again, another horrible occurrence that happened on this road, and it makes it that much more creepy and makes it that much more believable that all this stuff is actually going on. Another body was also found on Wakhurst Parkway in 1995, which is actually the only one of these murders or situations where I was alive for. I was born in 1995. Not that that has any relevance, but I just thought I'd let you know. That's when I was born, year of the pig. 21-year-old Frances Tizone, I might not be pronouncing that name correctly. Her body was found in a bushland near Wakhurst Parkway. They also found her university bag, which had her textbooks in it. She was a uni student at the same uni as I did my degree, which is just, it's just weird. And I looked into the case a bit, and her ex-boyfriend would stalk her at uni and come to her classes and all this sort of stuff. And it just makes it even creepier to think that I went to that uni and like that had happened, and I didn't even, like, I had no idea about it. So as you've seen, there have been a few incidents that have happened on Wakhurst Parkway, and these are just the ones that have been like reported. There have been multiple deaths and car crashes and fatalities. Now let's move on to like what people have reported seeing. What are the commonalities amongst people's experiences? Let's talk about it. I kind of wanted to put on like a really creepy Shane voice for this video, but I was like, nah, I don't think I can do that justice. So I'm just gonna leave that to Shane, and I'm just gonna do my normal little thing. So a lot of people have reported seeing the same thing, being a girl in a white dress, like a long white dress. The girl seems to be young, and some people have even gone as far as to say that if you do not tell her to leave your car, then she will try her best to like veer you or run you off the road, which I just think is really creepy to think that a spirit or a presence can do that sort of thing, if that is the case. So this is who people think is Kelly. This is who people report seeing most of the time. This is probably the most common sighting on Wakhurst Parkway, and this is who people have called Kelly. Other people report seeing an older female, and the story behind this is supposedly she was run over 50 years ago on Wakhurst Parkway, and she haunts the road as well as Kelly. So there seems to be like 2 predominant female presences that are commonly reported being seen on this road. But it gets creepier. Some people say that when they look into the rear view mirror of their car, there will be a woman sitting on the back seat looking straight back at them, which, oh my gosh, that is so creepy. And then they'll look back and then she's gone. Other people will see her outside of the car, and some have reported driving straight through her and have even swerved to avoid her. I guess she's been reported in the middle of the road, on the side of the road, in the back of the car. By the sounds of it, she can kind of be anywhere, which is very unpredictable and very scary. This is really weird, but some people have even reported picking up a girl from the side of the road and giving her a lift, and then she just disappeared. Obviously she appears to be really real, because if people are like thinking they're picking up someone from the side of the road, then you can only imagine like how real she actually looks. So these legends of this nun and this girl have been reported for decades, a really long time. There are also other stories that have been reported, but not as common. Some have seen a horse and a cart traveling along the road. Others have reported a limp ghostly body on the side of the road, and many report seeing these things and then they'll just disappear. So the stories of Wakhurst Parkway have become so well known that some filmmakers decided they wanted to look into it further and create a TV pilot / documentary sort of thing based on the Wakhurst Parkway hauntings. The documentary is yet to be released, but there were a few things noted from the filmmakers about what happened on set and what was going on when they were actually filming. Filming was said to be so harrowing. A number of the crew members and actors actually became physically ill when they were on set. It's even been reported that some of the actors became a bit hysterical and their behavior was a bit strange when they were like on set, which I guess adds a whole nother real creepy element to this story. So the co-director was actually a skeptic herself, and she said the entire experience of filming and making the film / documentary, I don't really know what it is because I haven't seen it, was really terrifying, and that she's absolutely convinced that the area is haunted because of the feelings that they got when they were on set. So for the last part of this video, I thought I would tell you guys 2 stories, and I thought I would share 2 different people's experiences on Wakhurst Parkway in their own words. I have them written down because they have a memory of a goldfish. So I'm gonna do a little bit of reading. So the first person's experience is a guy named Hala'u. I probably didn't pronounce that correctly, but I will have his name on the screen so you guys can see. He's a taxi driver, and he had a particularly scary experience when he was driving down Wakhurst Parkway one night. He said, "You know that feeling you always get whenever someone suddenly opens the back door and gets inside the cab? It was of course totally impossible," he says, as there was no one at all on the road, but as he drove he got the distinct sense that there was someone sitting in the back seat. He instinctively checked the rearview mirror and writes, "What I saw shocked me as the hairs on the back of my neck stood up straight. There was a grey silhouette of a thin young woman in the mirror, apparently sitting on the middle of the rear seat and sort of staring straight back at me. She was in a kind of white gown and headdress like a Christian nun. I couldn't really see her face clearly, just the shape of her face, and her deep green eyes. Yes, the sad green eyes, but she was definitely real and sitting there and staring back at me at that precise moment. I slammed the brake hard. The taxi veered off to the left and came to a sudden stop in front of an exposed gum tree. When he turned to look in the mirror again, the woman was gone." So that was his first experience. A few months later, he picked up a group of teenagers who requested to drive down Wakhurst Parkway. So he asked them like their reason for the detour of like why they wanted to specifically drive down Wakhurst Parkway. And one passenger apparently replied and said he wanted to show his friends how scary and dark and eerie Wakhurst Parkway was at night. Apparently the teenager said to the taxi driver, "I'd been telling them we could even see a ghost or 2, he laughed. So they were chatting and just having a conversation, and then one of the girls in the back seat mentioned that maybe the nun will hitch a ride with them in the car. So apparently that was the first time the taxi driver had heard about Wakhurst Parkway and someone else mentioning it, and he never told anyone about his personal experience. So the taxi driver proceeded to ask one of the boys in the back seat what the story was about this nun who supposedly haunts Wakhurst Parkway. And the guy said, "A visiting nun from Scotland was run over at the intersection where the church is, about 30 or 40 years ago. You know, there was another church well before the Christian City Church. She's been hitchhiking the passing car since." Weird. So that taxi driver had some weird experiences with this particular road, and he definitely wasn't the only one. It also happened to a psychic called Mary Lockland. She claims to have encountered Kelly multiple times when driving on the road, especially while passing this particular church. She says that each time she drives past this church, she hears like a buzz or a crackle through her radio, and then her car doors will just like lock themselves. So this kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier about weird things happening to the cars and windscreen wipers, doors locking themselves, radio fuzzing, and because the road is so dark, it just makes it even more eerie and creepy. So this psychic Mary says, "The first time I took the road was about 6 years ago. It was about 2 a.m. and I had the feeling of someone touching the back of my neck. Do you reckon? Oh, it gives me like chills. It felt like a cool hand would on a cold," oh my gosh, yeah. The way she described it, and I'm going to use exactly the same words as she used, was like a cool hand on a cold day. Can you imagine like driving in your car and then feeling like a cold hand like touch the back of your neck? Like how would you not veer off the road? That could literally create a car crash and kill you. And I wonder how many car crashes on this particular road were maybe caused by something paranormal, but people just thought it was a normal car crash. Who knows? It's all a bit of a mystery, to be quite honest, but a very fascinating one, I must say. So the psychic was asked why she thinks this is happening and why she thinks people are having these really creepy, weird interactions and encounters with this Kelly girl on Wakhurst Parkway. So she believes that Kelly, this spirit, haunts people on that road because of her own troubled and suffering in the past and her death on that road, and obviously it just has some specific meaning to her, and she for some reason doesn't want to leave and wants to make it very known that she is there to other people driving the road. Mary's daughter has also had 2 experiences when driving the road at night as well, and just to summarize what she said, "Most hauntings are in places where there has been a tragedy. I feel Kelly is either lost or has a message to deliver. She's not an evil presence, but one that's traumatized. She's saying, I need a lift out of here." I guess that kind of makes sense given perhaps the fact that she died on that particular stretch of road. And that is all I really wanted to talk about in this video. I just wanted to explain and chat about a really crazy, creepy road in Sydney that I have driven down and had eerie feelings myself. There's a lot to say in this, and some people might think it's complete bullshit, and that's completely fine. But I feel like this sort of stuff and people reporting the same things is a bit too weird and a bit too odd to be coincidental. And given the history and the dark, creepy history of Wakhurst Parkway and Deep Creek Reserve and just the surrounding areas, it doesn't surprise me that these sort of things are happening. I'd love to know your opinions and what you guys have to say or think about anything I've talked about in this video. Feel free to go and do your own research. Also let me know down below if you like this video and you like this sort of video, and I will do more of them. I'm totally down to do some creepy, weird, eerie investigating sighting. As I said before, I'm super fascinated by all this sort of stuff and true crime and the combination between psychology and the mind and criminals and how that all works. So let me know if you like this stuff too, and I will make more of it. On that note, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, for being here. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Click the bell down below to be notified when I upload new videos. I'm gonna get my bell. I got my ring for beer bell here. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Leave your suggestions and thoughts down below. Hopefully I'll see you guys on my Instagram or my Twitter. It's at Amy Grace with 3 E's. I got it over there. And don't forget to be yourself, and I will catch you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!